Welcome back to the Tailosive Tech Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined again with Randy and Mike. You know what I just realized, because I just dropped the Apple Card review? Everyone on this show has the Apple Card.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Take that, Nick. You suck.
We've finally done it. 100% Apple Card ownership across the show. Do you guys ever look at the... Because what I thought was really fun this week, because I was seeing the news that, like, it's been 3 years, and I was like, really? 3 years ago? I go back and look at all the daily cash I've generated. Do you guys ever go back
After
just to see?
you dropped that video, I wanted to. I think I forgot. And now that my phone is the camera, I can't. I'm looking on iPad to see if I can pull up wallet.
This is a legit problem now, isn't it? When the iPhone becomes your camera. I can't explain that to someone 60 years ago. I can't look at my wallet because my phone is my camera. Edison is just like...
Future is weird.
Kevin Gates was always right. You need two phones.
I feel like I want to look, but I won't have this issue if I get myself a 13 mini at a lower rate in about 3-4 weeks or something. Dude.
Yeah.
Wow. Is it going to be out? Is the event happening while I'm in... Wait, Drew, you said off air that we might have an announcement date. Is it happening while I'm in San Diego?
It depends when you're in San Diego. So Mark Gurman... I'll explain myself. There's actually a really long, complicated answer as to why people think that the event is on the 7th. So this is perfect podcast subject. But yeah Gurman says the event
kill an hour right
on,
here.
Yeah. Gurman says the event will be September 7th, which is weird in my opinion, because that's a Wednesday. And it's also pretty early in the month, if you recall. Typically, Apple events, at least in the past 4 or 5 years, have always been the second Tuesday of every September, with the exception of the iPhone 7, which was also on the 7th, but that was a while ago. And also they had a ton of supply chain issues this year between lockdowns and suppliers having lens issues and changing between display manufacturers. There's been all these issues. So when he said that, I was like, okay, he's reputable, but that just seems like, why would they release it sooner rather than later, right? It feels like the kind of year where,
especially if like stuff like iPad is delayed. Granted, I know iPad will probably come out, but iPad itself will come out in October, like they normally do the iPad event in October. So maybe that doesn't matter. But with everything that is pushed back, doing something sooner, or assuming that it is supposed to, stick to the theme of second Tuesday, doing it sooner. The only time we've ever saw it push forward or back, I think, as well, is like the whole it's on September 11th. Don't want to do that, those whatever.
Yeah,
but
you want to avoid a hot topic.
Yeah, we like, whoa! I love this date. It's a new iPhone, baby.
iPhone.
Thoughts and prayers.
Allah Akbar.
I'll never forget the iPhone 7 launch. But someone with software betas had a very complicated answer. So I want to actually try to remember commenters' names because I feel bad for all the people that I keep shouting out and forgetting. So this guy's name was Tech in RL. Okay. A fairly. Are you guys okay if I read his paragraph here?
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Read it. Just read it. It's
he
okay.
says,
what's his theory?
The hint for when this is fascinating. I did not know this, and once he read it, I was like, okay, he probably has a point. He says, the hint for when the Apple event takes place is actually in the iOS beta code. If you look at the build number, it ends in B. While not completely consistent, beta build numbers move up the alphabet where the last beta release has an A at the end. Because this last build ended in B, next week's beta release should have an A, with the following week being the release candidate, which has no letter at all. That means RC1 will be on August 29th. I've never seen Apple allocate 2 weeks for an RC build. In almost all cases, the iPhone event takes place while RC1 is out, with the final release happening the same week, often the same day. While the RC1 on August 29th, with the RC1 on August 29th, that means the final public release of iOS 16 should be the week of September 5th. That fits Gurman's prediction of an Apple event that week. While the code doesn't pinpoint the day, it does tell us which week. So after I read that, I was like, that sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
Get the tinfoil hat, boys.
Listen, when those flat earthers sit down and they speak with conviction, I'm like, I think they're onto something. Like sometimes it's how you say something, and I have no idea if what that guy's saying is true, but the way you read it, Drew, I'm sold.
Confidently incorrect.
Purely on the basis that I do not have a counterpoint, I think you're right. I just literally can't think of a... Well, no, because
I don't know what you just told me, I'm going to assume that you insulted me, and I find that very offensive, and I think you're wrong.
You're infringing on my rights.
I should be offended.
You're obstructing my feelings here.
But then there were more news articles about it coming early, which is maybe post-COVID. I just have a hard time imagining anything coming early. Like my brain has been accustomed to delays, pushbacks, and now there's articles saying that it may help with something to do with like Apple's not worried about demand and earnings calls, and if they launch it sooner, then they can report more revenue earlier, something like that.
Because, here, let me add to it.
Okay.
Because iPhone 14 is going to be so lackluster, and it's using the same chip, and they have no problem with the chip demand for this A chip, the real pushback would be like the Pros will be 2 weeks instead of 1 week of pre-order to ship because it's a new design.
Oh, you think it could be another staggered release, kind of like what we had?
I think it's
with
going to be a staggered. Well, I mean, okay. Assuming it's the first week of September instead of second, that would make more sense to me. Pre-orders will happen, on that Friday, but then September 9th will be ship. Will that be the delivery day? Or September 9th is the I'm sorry. Not sorry, not September 16th. I'm looking at, I had to pull up the calendar.
Yeah.
September 16th will be the ship day. Unless so they do say they hold the event on the 7th because the 5th is Labor Day. It's a holiday. I don't know if they would do an event on a holiday. I'm assuming
Gurman's
no.
logic was there's Labor Day and then there's a travel day after Labor Day, so that's why they want it on the 7th, not the 6th.
That makes
But it's online.
I mean, it's
right?
not a it's like it. I see the stance, but it's not this is a private company. Like, this makes sense if this was the government. We're going to shut down slavery. Government.
Randy, you should know by now Apple is our government.
All I'm saying is someone who was... It's both politics and religion. What could go wrong? So... I did
the TV Plus symbol across my...
I love it. All right. So,
Naughty
Naughty man.
It's iPhone season. We all wear our drapes for the event.
I love it. I'm gonna order it on Amazon,
like a Bible.
I'm telling you right now. I'm putting this on record while we're recording. I will commit to this if I have at least one other person on the panel committing. I will get a white. I will be that guy. Whether I'm in San Diego or back here.
Just not the hoodie, Randy.
And the face markings.
Well, we can't say.
Yeah.
I can't say.
We'll have the hoodies, but there'll be like red Apple logos.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
That's gotta
AirPower
be a thing.
tattoo on your forehead.
Should get a tattoo. So, Mike, you may not have to wait that long for your next iPhone. Are you hyped?
I'm a bit hyped. I'm very excited and very much waiting for a new iPhone. My 11 Pro continues to have issues. Thank you to that one commenter. Again, Drew said I should probably get better at this. The guy who he told me, oh goodness, it was either last week or the week. No, it was 2 weeks ago, about my battery problem with how it freezes sometimes and also just dies really quickly because of all those variables. He surmised that it's probably a battery replacement time, in which I don't want to pay for battery replacement, so I'd rather just get the 14 Pro.
There's your answer. Dylan Yank, 2 weeks ago, Thank for you, letting us know that it's a battery problem. And there's also a different one with a way more complicated name. But he said, Chidoriazengans. Thank you for your comment.
Gesundheit.
I think you just opened a portal.
If you're on video podcast, you can see how it's spelled. There's his.
Okay. Gotcha.
My wife is actually getting very close to dipping below 80% as well.
Ooh, welcome to the club. I know that someone in our Discord also said they had to switch to an old iPhone, just because
sounds like it's time for a new phone.
Yeah, it sounds like everyone's ready for new phones now. So I think the 14, no matter if it's even an S year, I think there's still going to be a lot of buyers. There's going to be a lot of people looking for a new iPhone, whether they just want the newest available tech or they need to upgrade because they've had a 8 for forever, or they're like me and have very terrible battery health on their 11 Pro or some other phone that's recent. Could be an X or anything else. Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not excited for the bill at the end of the day, but already maybe now is the time to drop the bombshell. I got this. I don't know what this is.
Oh my God.
He
did it. Best mouse.
And I also got this. I don't know what to. I don't know what to do this.
Wait. Does this? What I also got? I'm not prepared.
A swelled lipo battery. So I guess for the listeners, I just showed a Magic Mouse, and I showed a Magic Keyboard with Touch ID that looks
and not just any Magic Mouse. This is a special mouse.
No, you're wrong, Drew.
It's the silver bottom with the black top.
That's the standard now.
There's still the silver ones, don't they?
Yeah, I know, but it's instead of you have the special mouse, the all black one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
that one's the rarity. If you can get one of those. Yeah.
Yes, I am special, but no one else has on this podcast at least. No one else has that keyboard and mouse setup that now Mike has, but we all have different Magic Mice. Oh, that's perfect.
Yes, yeah. But cool. I guess what I'm alluding to is there is, I think, 1 or 2 more things yet to come that might be here
there is
either
one more thing
next week or the next 2 weeks. It'll be.
Oh
here.
My God! You got the Mac Studio.
He did it. There is 2 more things.
Thanks.
The Mac Pro.
So wait, did you order 2 new Apple
computers
after this?
One is delayed, being the Mac Studio. I ordered it. I got the binned.
Oh my God.
M1 Max with 2 terabytes of storage because I need it for photos and other things. My wife also has photos that she wants to back up, so we figured 2 terabytes on the computer is good.
Dude.
Wow.
So that's
Congratulations.
Coming. And then the studio display, I somehow convinced the wife we should get.
Oh my God!
The studio display.
So that's.
Oh my God! I'm so taken.
That's coming. Oh goodness! I still haven't hit order. It's. You could probably go into an Apple store today and buy one.
Yeah.
We're just making sure that we have all funds ready to go as well for that. But the studio or the Mac Studio has already been ordered. It'll come as soon as it can, which is, I think, September 8th or something like that. So right after the event, probably.
Wow.
It would be hilarious
That's
if they announced a M2 Mac Mini, but I don't care. Yeah, so the reason why I made this...
now.
Oh, dear Lord. It's just white bezels. Are you being
That's
racist against white bezels?
Yes. That's correct.
Well, all computers aren't created equal then. But
all bezels matter.
Black bezels matter.
Yes. That's so right. The iMac is going away. It's not being sold per se. My mother is looking for a new computer, and she said that she wanted a computer as soon as possible. And so I'll be giving her this iMac, and she wanted it. She wanted the green. and she didn't want a new one because I don't know. I guess she didn't want me. I don't know. I told her about the situation. She's like, "Well, I'm looking for a new computer."
She doesn't need a reason.
Yeah. So basically,
it's Apple.
Thank you to my mom for enabling the Mac Studio to happen. So it's coming. It'll be nice. I can finally stop.
Thank you, Mama Michael.
Yeah. Thank you, Mrs. Model Y Mike.
Thank you, Mrs. Model Y Mike.
Anyway, so yeah, that is coming. I'm pretty excited. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I was joking about the Mac Studio, and when you said I was right, I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Oh my god," because then I was just guessing like, "Oh, he is buying all these extra peripherals because he's got the Mac Studio." Yeah, so I got the Mac Studio, and then the Apple display, the Studio display. Oh my god!
This is gonna be such an awesome setup.
It'll be great. It's gonna be a tough goodbye for the green tinted accessories because I love them. What are you talking about? This is a great compact keyboard, and I could have gotten the same keyboard but white and black and all that, or I guess silver and white and black, but I wasn't really a fan.
Black keys, it's so much better.
The black keys, yeah. So that's happening. My wallet is hurting. This year is.
Did you put it on the Apple Card?
I put it on the Apple Card.
Good.
So that's partly why we're waiting, because my limit on the Apple Card for some reason is abysmal, and I don't know why, because my credit score is amazing. That. So we're basically waiting for that payment process to go through, which I think it did recently. So now I just need to pay that off.
How long have you had your Apple Card?
It's been a while,
got it.
I remember when you got it.
I got it last year.
Over a year ago.
I think it was right after I probably did the first EV podcast with you guys, I think.
So
I want to say.
He just met me and Randy and was like, I should probably get an Apple Card.
These guys are serious. If I want to blend in with them, I need to get this card.
They will add incremental credit increases. But, I mean.
They have. I've already gotten one or two already, but it's still abysmal. So.
I remember when you first got it, it was bizarrely low, and I was like, "That makes no sense."
No one should. The credit limit always starting at 50,000. I was like, "This is way too low. I can't do anything with it." Wait, you guys didn't start with 50,000? Oh,
no, it was weird. I saw a bunch of people. Maybe it was after the day one, because I signed up for the Apple Card the first week it came out or something, right away. I was in the Philippines when it first launched, but I remember it was weird because it wasn't outside of the US, so I couldn't sign up for it while I was away. But as soon as the plane landed, I got the option in the wallet app, and before I even got out of my seat, I was approved. The plane was just taxiing to the terminal, and I was just like, here's my driver's license.
You are the epitome of that one commercial of the guy buying chocolate at the convenience store. Was able to do it in 5 seconds or whatever. I don't know.
Basically. And I used it on the drive home. We got dinner on that drive home, and I paid for it with the card. And I was like, that's trippy. That just digitally they extended the credit line and added it directly. But yeah, after a few months, I remember a bunch of people signing up for the Apple Card and everyone saying that their credit limit was absurdly low, even though their score was high. And I think Apple got way more skeptical to how many credit lines they were running. Maybe because they realized they weren't reporting to credit bureaus, so they were like, "Oh, wait a minute, this is dangerous. We're extending huge."
But I mean, they ask you for your annual income, and they run the credit score and all indicators on most furnitures. If I was applying for another card akin to that one, so at least a no annual 2% back. Historically, the credit limit comes in way higher than what Apple started with. But one thing that I give Apple, or at least maybe it's Goldman Sachs technically, this is the most increased Apple Card that I've seen out of any other credit card. I don't have that many, but the limit stays pretty consistent with every other credit card that I have. But the Apple Card, and maybe because it's the activity, if it takes Apple Pay, I will do Apple Pay first, and then if not, I have a fallback credit card that I use. Right. But the Apple credit card just Like it almost feels like every 6 months or something, I'm getting an increase, and it's not a lot. It's not like it's not like 2,000, but it's just enough. And I'm like, oh, well, look at that. Whatever I started with, I know it's way higher now, but I'm like, well, it means nothing to me. All that does is help the credit utilization if it's being reported to the agency because, I pay it off that doesn't mean anything to me. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm so happy for you, Mike. You're gonna have a new iPhone. You're gonna have a new monitor, a new Mac, new keyboard, new mouse.
You're the freshest guy on the show now. We're all washed up has-beens.
Excuse me, my king. You dropped this.
Yes, king.
I'll have to sell it because, man, the wallet's gonna be hurting after the end of the year. But I think it'll be worth it.
Needless to say, some Apple cards are going to be turning yellow next month, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. I'm very excited. I'm very much looking forward to it, and not necessarily counting.
You're going to have so much I/O now. That's going to be so nice.
That's the one thing that I'm really looking forward to. Right now, I've reorganized the back of my computer a couple times recently because of the stupid audio situation last week. Apologies to all the listeners who had to listen to some of the cursed audio that came out of that. But
it kind of came at comedic times, though. Did you see the one where you start yelling and it's just like?
It was about the.
We identified the problem.
Yeah, I think we fixed it. I've done a couple tests. It should be fine now. If not, then I've got a separate mic that we could test with as well. I've done many tests with both this mic and then I've got a very old Snowball mic. And both during the time that I was testing it, the only thing I could find is one, there were some frayed wires in the mic, or actually in the cord, that I had to snip and resolder. And then tested it and it was fine. But even so, I switched ports. And that's when I noticed that there was no issue. So hopefully it should be fine now. We'll see.
So the iMac was to blame is what you're saying.
The iMac was to blame is what I'm saying. You are correct.
Okay.
Jeez.
It may or may not have been something to do with the bezels, but...
In other news, I did find that Airtags are very much durable.
Oh my God. Mike... I ate mine as a joke in the video. It wasn't real. I wasn't really eating it. You weren't supposed to.
That wasn't a tum.
Yeah, I learned it the hard way. No, so this is an AirTag. Of course, it's got a little dog emoji on it. We got it to track our dog that we have, and she apparently at some point started chewing it up. And so I took it off her immediately because I'm like, well, let's not do that. And then looked at the battery, and thank goodness I did look at the battery because I don't know if the camera's going to get it, but you can see a little bit of a dent on the battery.
I see it.
Yeah, so it looks like
don't they make those taste, some of those they make taste gross because it's very dangerous to eat, right?
Maybe. I mean, she doesn't really care.
No, that's the Nintendo Switch.
I know, it's the same kind of coating, though. But I remember reading that the anti-taste batteries don't work, or are, even though they fit in the AirTag, they're not recommended or something. I remember reading about this. I swear, I'm not crazy.
You opened up a credit card line before you even got off your airplane. You're a little crazy.
You also bought 8 terabytes for your laptop.
That was also crazy. Okay, you've proven your point.
Crazy.
We've established that, but I'm glad your dog.
And only crazy people get 6% cash back on the biggest purchase that they're probably going to make in the next 5 to 10 years. You crazy son of a...
Yeah, Apple's crazy.
I'm just crazy.
Everyone's crazy, but I guess surprisingly
so
from
do
this,
with that AirTag?
I think I'm going to replace the battery. I think I could still use it, but I don't know whether to put it back on the dog. Or I've got an extra AirTag that I could probably put on the dog.
I'm surprised she is able to bite it. How did she?
I mean, it's basically like right here, right? And my dog eats everything.
Impressive.
If you leave her out in the yard, she'll eat all of the wood that's on the ground. She'll eat the dirt. She'll eat the poo. She'll eat everything. She'll eat rocks probably. So
I've seen that firsthand. It's bizarre, but it's real. Yeah. Maybe the AirTags taste really good. I don't know.
Compared to rocks, I bet they are. No.
Would you rather eat a rock or an AirTag? Let us know by leaving a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast.
Like and follow.
There you go.
Yeah. Actually, on that subject, I just want to say that to the people that there's still occasionally reviews being left. Thank you to the people that do that. I know that we kind of forget that there's rating systems, but someone left a very nice one recently. So thank you to those who feel like leaving one behind. But anyway, yeah, it's has it ever come in handy? Have you ever been in a situation where you're like, I'm not sure where the dog is?
Not even close. No.
That's good.
The dog usually comes running. We don't really leave her outside that much because of the aforementioned eating of everything. But no, the only times that it's come in handy is when I have the truck for the day when I drive to work and the wife wants to know where I am specifically, in which she could just look at my phone on the Find My app. But she can also look at where the truck is on the Find My app. So that's the only useful situations. Recently. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Snapchat. Like, I didn't realize that I and a few of my friends had that like always on location thing. And I can just go in the app and see where they are. Like my friend Ross was out of state working and I was just like, oh, that's where he is. I had no clue that was a feature. I just never really used it, but that's cool.
Yeah.
AirTags is one of those things where I feel like it might be one of the very few products that I've never tried, have no intention to buy, and I think it's like a wonderful product that just doesn't fit me because I don't.
How I feel. Yeah.
I don't know. Like I want to like it, or I mean, I want to use one. I want to buy one, but I don't want to buy one because where's my wallet? Like the way I structure my life is, I always keep it very simplistic to a fault of like I just know where everything is at all times.
Yeah.
And because I live within these 4 white, crazy, insane asylum walls, I don't really need to like look for something. And I don't like my dog is always right next to me at all times. So if
always on.
I try to hide from her, and she like hunts me down, and I'm like, sometimes I play a little cat and mouse, like try to find me, and like she always like. So can't use it for dog tag. Can't use it for my phone. My phone. Yeah, you see what I did? Yeah, it is.
I get
my phone, my wallet, no, and my phone and wallet is basically one and the same. We actually need Apple to roll out. Or excuse me, I'm sorry, this is not on Apple. We need the state governments to roll out those IDs
oh my gosh,
to put in.
Please. That would be so nice.
I am waiting. Okay, so I'm in Virginia, and the next state up is Maryland.
Yeah.
And Maryland is one of the 2 states right now that actually has the Apple ID thing.
You got.
So I was like, yeah, I look at my wife and I'm like, hey, do you want to like just register as
miles.
Marylandians, Marylandites. Anyway, do you? I don't know.
Merles.
We have Merles. We have family up there. Like maybe we'll just use their address. Anyway, but all that to say that like everything is so. Do you want to be Marys? Do you want to get married and marry? Hey, anybody from Maryland? How do you tell me?
Define
yeah, what are you?
Yourself.
Are you
define your pronouns?
Marylandite? Help me out here. So AirTags just it doesn't fit my thing, and if I want to know where my wife is, I just text her. Hey, where are you? I don't know. She's either really working or she's here.
I bought one and reviewed it, and then a friend of mine really wanted one and didn't want to wait, so he just bought it off me. So
man,
it was like a Mother's Day
concept is cool.
I think for people that need to, obviously keep track of things, there's probably no better option, especially if they have an iPhone.
I'll put one on my kid.
Yeah. Diaper tag. You could put like a belt buckle.
No, not diaper tag.
I'm not putting it. Yeah, I'm not putting it where it gets that.
Put it on the belly button.
It's not going to be like the scene from Jurassic Park where they have to get in there to retrieve it. It's not gonna be like one of those. It's gonna be Jeff Goldblum's like,
you better wash your hands before you eat anything. Yeah, no, you should. I would put it as like a belt buckle right on there. You could put whatever emoji you wanted there or something. It'd be cool.
Ooh. I was thinking Texas when you said belt buckle because Texans pride themselves on their big old.
Don't mess with Airtags.
Put the same thing with the Texas little. You know how they got like the 2 strings that go down and just put an Airtag.
A bolo tie.
At this point, we're just thinking of dog tags. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that would be cool. Is there like how long has Airtags have been out for a while? Is there like any point in refreshing them? Like, should they do something with Airtags or
maybe just add
5G?
Sorry, I just love it when Randy disagrees with himself. Like, maybe just add a no.
Like, what's the point of making it bigger? I was like, yeah, just make it. Uncomfortably big.
Oh, AirTag Pro is what you're saying. Pro
AirTag
for profit.
Max.
AirTag. It's like a pizza dish size. It's a hubcap. You put it on your tires.
This baby tracks starships.
Honestly, it would look like a Starlink after a certain size.
I mean, it gets any wider. I would have thought that was the AirPower, and I would just put it on there and like, oh no, that's not working.
Tim Cook is calling Drew right now.
Oh my God! I'm trying to mute myself so you. Okay, that's how you. For those who don't know, why do home phones still exist? I'm at my grandparents' place right now, house sitting and just watching over their garden and they're watering the plants and everything. And my grandparents are wonderful and I love them, but they still have a home phone. And I haven't had a home phone in like 8 years. So just in the middle of watching cable TV last night, which was a weird experience, and then the phone starts ringing and I'm like, what's that? What's happening? What's going on?
This house has speakers.
Like,
Poke's phone with spear. What is this?
The voices are back!
Yeah. You're poking it with a spear. You're like, ooh, what?
SpongeBob and Patrick in the past.
Yeah. What is this? Like, my phone is on silent at all times. I don't even want my phone to make noise. Like, I am all about that Apple Watch taps you on the wrist when you're getting a call. It doesn't need to make a noise or anything. So the idea of the home having its own number.
Call from 805-327. I get, yeah.
It's like, I already don't care. The moment I heard the ring, I was like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't know who it is, but clearly whoever's calling them doesn't know that they're out of town, so they're not that close anyway. It can't be that close. But yeah, it's just
imagine
home phones
they
are
go
a weird
that far.
concept.
They reach you, leaves a voicemail. Hi, we're trying to reach you about your extended warranty. Oh my God.
Yeah, and that's all it is, right? It's just ads. Do you guys remember the last time you had a home phone?
Ooh.
How long has it been?
2007.
2016 for me.
Oh, really? Okay. That's pretty recent. I think we had one in our house growing up, but they canceled it before I moved out. So I know it was definitely before 2017. Because all we were getting was spam calls of warranty, and it was just ads. No one was actually genuinely calling.
It was the ad.
We realized that it's just ads built into your house now. Like, if anyone actually needed you, they were calling your cell or texting you, and the only reason the home phone would ring was because of ads. And we were like, wait, what is this for? Like, why does this exist?
I am absolutely going to date myself. But yeah, 2007. And I had the old T9 texting where 333-445. I could tactile fill and text.
Wow.
And I had to wait till after 8 p.m. to make free phone calls. The whole thing. I had the T-Mobile Sidekick that you just put down like that and it's flipped open. It was so cool.
Must have been hard to type on that with the horse and buggy bumping on all the rocks.
One of my first purchases I made when I was, because at this point I was working at SeaWorld. One of my first checks, I went and I bought a cell phone, because I'm like, I don't want to Dad, get off the phone.
Yeah.
Get off the. Like I gotta make I didn't want to do that, so I bought a cell phone, got a plan, and and that was in 2007. At this point, I had been working at SeaWorld for a year, and I was like, "Yep, I'm gonna pull the cut the cable here." And
you worked at SeaWorld?
This man aided and abetted Shamu getting abused every day.
I left. Before I at this point all that happened. I think I was at boot camp. I don't know. Yeah, I worked at SeaWorld for like a year and some change, or 2 years.
Wow.
I worked there as I was finishing up high school, and then I left for the Marines. And when I got out of boot camp,
this was before Marines. Okay.
Oh yeah, this is before Marines. Yeah.
All right.
And it was my first job.
The dark times.
I get out of boot camp, and all of a sudden, all hell broke loose, and it was like, SeaWorld's the devil. I'm like, what's going on?
So you didn't see
any have you not heard?
On.
No. Well, no. Yeah,
this
I
was
did.
Before SeaWorld got Me Too'd.
Yes, with the documentary. I did see something a little bit weird. They're like, we don't. Part of the orientation. This is very tech related, I know, but oh well.
The first
part
rule
of the orientation
of SeaWorld is you don't talk about SeaWorld.
No, it's okay. I'm past my 10-year NDA. I can. The
NDA has expired, so you're safe.
Yeah,
you're good.
Hey, they paid me federal minimum wage. They can you kiss it where it don't shine. I don't care. I was walking around. They're taking us in the back where they have all the dolphins and the otters, and they're doing all the training. And they're like, we don't.
They're like in Kryptonite, like in Kenobi. They're like behind the.
Listen, they were isolated tanks, and they're like, we don't tell them what to do. We ask them. That was their PR stunt at us. When we train them, we don't tell them. We ask them. I'm like, oh, okay. And they're over there, and they're just like, up, throw the little thing, and they're like, good, very good. I'm like, cool. Later on that day, I go on lunch, and there's an employee cafeteria that's tucked away in the back, away from all the people. I go back there, and I see people think I saw this trainer in the wetsuit has a stick thing slapping the water. They're like, I said get up, pa pa. I said get up, and I'm like, are you hitting it? I look closely. It doesn't look like they're hitting it, but they were definitely doing the like, hey, what'd I tell you? Hey, like that. And I was like, oh my God. And they just finished, and then they still throw the little fish, the dead fish in there, and then they walk away. And I'm just sitting there like, I should intervene or something. I don't know. And I see the person just looks at me, and then they're just like, hey, good morning. How are you doing? And then just carried on like I didn't just see that.
Blood all over their hands.
Woo!
Hello, how are you?
Hard day at work, honest living, huh? I was so. Huh? Me, 17 years old, thinking like, oh, this is just how the world works, man.
I guess we're okay with that blackfish.
I guess that's how
we're not okay with that.
So me, like an impressioned child mimicking. I walk by, I see the little dolphin just in the tank. Get up! No, I'm okay. That part I'm kidding. I didn't do that. The strict rules. You're not supposed to interact with the animals. But when the documentary came out, I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Sounds about right.
Like, yeah, that sounds about right.
They're
just talking about orcas in the documentary. Like, I feel bad for the dolphins and the otters and the sea lions and stuff like that. I'm like,
and the fish. They keep feeding all the fish.
They keep feeding the fish. Yeah. So iPhone 14,
water
huh?
resistant?
Wait, what? Test it out. I don't know.
You could drop it in water. Like, could they put an AirTag on an orca?
Why?
Yeah, I guess the Find My network probably wouldn't work very well.
Remember that movie Free Willy? that's why they gotta hunt him down and bring him back. You know how tech has just like solved. Yeah. Tech has fixed so many problems that movies would be obsolete. Free Willy wouldn't happen.
Tons of them.
Oh,
Romeo and Juliet.
Jingle
Don't
all the
drink
way.
The potion. Lol, I'm not actually dead. Oh, okay.
All right.
Boom.
Lol. Jingle all the way. Hey, you got the Turbo Man toy, right? No. Amazon. Done.
To answer the previous question,
yeah.
AirTags are splash and water and dust resistant with an IP67 under the IEC.
So I don't know if you could swim with it.
1 meter of water for 30 minutes. So I think you have to keep the whale out of the water for more time than it needs to.
The whale could bring him down pretty deep into the tank.
Get up!
One more SeaWorld story since I don't talk about SeaWorld.
Right.
Never mind the person that's drowning. Get the AirTag.
Get up! Oh my God! A $30 AirTag.
Okay. One more SeaWorld story, just because I guess I dare talk about my SeaWorld experience. When I was like 5 years old, I think 4 or 5. I was actually in a SeaWorld commercial. Unrelated to me. Like, I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna. I clearly I never talked about SeaWorld ever.
Can we find
was the kid. I've been looking on YouTube and I can't find the actual clip, but like it's like, 1995 or 2 or something. It's in the early 90s. I got selected. I was in the front row. I was in the splash zone, and like me. They're like, okay, who wants to sit on Shamu? Me. And they saw me, and they're like, that kid looks helpless enough. Let's get him up here. So I remember getting up, and they put me on top of Shamu, and all of a sudden, all these cameras. There was a camera crew all circling around me, God. I'm sitting on top of Shamu, and my dad was like, yeah, whatever. And then he told me it's like I had to sign a release form. I'm like, what you mean a release form? Sure enough, I remember I was on a SeaWorld San Diego commercial. So I'm still, you know what's funny? I have an IMDb page, but I'm not credited for the commercial. That makes me mad.
Wow.
Yeah. So
you and many others.
That's I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot today.
Me too.
So much Randy lore.
Did you know I once I open mouth kissed a horse once?
Randy, I own horses, and I find that very
Remind
disturbing.
Randy he's not welcome back to Mike's place. He can't come back now.
That was an Austin Powers reference.
Oh, okay. Thank God.
Whichever movie was with Beyonce, he goes,
I can't.
Tell me something I don't know. I opened mouth kiss a horse once. What? That's something you don't know.
I can't tell when you're joking or not. It's hard.
I know. No, everything about the SeaWorld, 100% true. The horse thing, I'm just trying to get a rise.
Anyway, I'm excited for your Mac Studio, Mike. I don't know how we.
Yeah, Mike.
Do you still?
Don't you love it when we have downtime of tech season? We get to know so much about each other.
We should find out when the event is by the end of this month, because if it's on the 7th, then they'll confirm it on the 30th or the 31st, and if it's not on the 7th, they won't announce it at that point. So
that tells me I will bring my MacBook Pro to San Diego if that is the case, because I'm only going to be in San Diego for a week, but I would be down there so I can be at the ready. I could do a recap, because Lord knows I don't care. Even if I couldn't do the podcast, I don't care what's happening that day. No, come on, Randy, we're gonna go do thing with the. I don't care. No, for 2 hours, I'm watching Apple.
I'm locked in.
I'm locked in. That's my life.
You
knew what you married.
But Mike, you're getting the studio display, which means you're getting center stage as well. But you're also getting the 14. So do you want to use continuity camera with the studio display, or do you want to use the baked-in camera?
So because I keep my phones, hello fingers. Ooh. I was staring
For
at
audio
Randy's
listeners,
fingers.
Randy's showcasing autofocus on continuity camera. I just thought Mike's
With center stage, it turns into the macro lens.
You made me laugh so hard on your live stream.
Which part?
When you just kept putting your face really close to the camera with center stage, and it makes your eyes go further apart.
Let's see if I can pull this off for the podcast.
You look like the lady on
Tech
remember the lady in Cat in the Hat that's like in the peephole? She rings the doorbell. She's like,
welcome.
You look like
I do. I get it. I know what you're talking. Welcome to the Taylor Swift
Okay.
Tech podcast.
So, how do you want to set your camera setup, Mike? What's your plans?
So first, I get a whole bunch of duct tape. So I think what I'll probably do, because I think it's coming to... It'll come to the 11 Pro, right? If I'm thinking about this right, iOS 16 should come to the 11 Pro. So I can use that as the continuity camera. And then the 14 I can have in my hand, like not a plebeian like yours truly right there with the planes in the background who can't check his own text messages or Apple Card.
Wait, you have an iPad?
I can check my text messages. I just can't open the wallet app.
Oh, what a shame.
Jerk.
You have the iPad mini. You could check stuff on.
Yeah, I could. But no.
But that's not a bad idea.
I'll probably just use the 11 Pro as the continuity camera, and then...
Okay. Fair enough.
I don't know. That's what I was thinking about as well. I'm like, wow, I'm going from camera on screen to camera on screen, but now we get this cool continuity camera where I can move the camera wherever I want.
You'll have dual center stages.
Your OBS will be set up
on the webcam. You could, in OBS, no joke, because continuity camera works wirelessly, you could put one camera, like, for no reason whatsoever, for no benefit. You could put your iPhone camera on, like, the other side of the room and use the studio display camera. And I wonder if... Okay, I can't test this. You'll have to figure it out. You could have multiple cameras doing center stage.
Oh, my God.
And they
You're
would, like,
have
track
a
you around.
3D map.
There's multiple angles.
Room.
I don't know if that's possible. Does macOS support that?
I don't. Yes. Why wouldn't it?
I don't. Yes. I just mean like it should work.
No, hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out.
You can add multiple video capture devices, right?
There's only one video when you go to your controls center. When you go to control center for video effects, it's highlighted right now because this camera is being utilized, but this is being routed. It says it's being routed through OBS and Discord. But within Discord, you can set multiple cameras, no different than having a camera and sharing your screen. You could set multiple cameras to be on at the same time in a single scene. And if you have it activate,
Discord did that. Wow.
Oh yeah. You can have two cameras simultaneously set for a scene, and the studio display camera is only an ultra wide. So by default, it's center stage.
Huh.
So you just turn it on.
Really pointless, but fascinating to watch. If Mike could just like walk around his room and have multiple cameras tracking him around.
We'll test it out.
Good morning. Today we're going to be trying
Go to
out
every single one. Good morning. Good morning.
Just for fun, you could switch to the iPhone angle. Be like, and over here we have, and people just...
I like the idea of it's just sitting in the chair behind me, just watching me do the podcast here. So it's just like a weird angle that no one cares about.
Somehow you make me want to get a studio display again. Now I'm like,
oh no.
No, Drew. Wait until the Mac whatever something.
No, come to the dark side.
Trump again. The new Mac whatever.
No, Drew. You're going to wait. Okay, quite frankly, if you don't wait, you're going to get rated on the new Mac whatever or something. Okay.
That was such a great line. He's up in front of like thousands of people. The new
Dapple,
Mac,
whatever.
And he was trying to brag about it too. He was like, I met with Tim Apple at their new factory where they're
Tim
building
Apple. Wonderful
in the
folks
United
over
States. The new Mac whatever. Oh god. Wow.
Oh
okay.
jeez.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm excited, but we'll see what turns out. I did see something. I wanted you guys to maybe shed some light. It came up in my Twitter feed earlier about something that is powered and appears in the air, and it never came out, and someone found it in some dumpster somewhere, and now they're making some cool videos on unreleased tech.
Oh, you're talking about the
Pixel?
the prototyped AirPods. Yeah. What if I said that so confidently?
The Pixel Pods Pro.
So
the Pixel Pods Pro.
The Nothing Pixel Pods Pro.
Yeah.
Guys, September 7th could be the next event. Guess what? No, never mind. I take that back. So iPhone season is next month. And in September of 2017, they unveiled AirPower. We're coming up on the 5-year anniversary of the unveiling.
It's been 5 years. Oh my god! Holy cow.
Discord just completely muted you, Randy. I have no clue.
Yeah.
Did it really?
Discord was like, those aren't words. So it just kept you quiet.
Oh, sorry. Well, OBS and the audio, they definitely
heard the audio listeners will know what he said. Hopefully it wasn't offensive. But yeah, I've been briefly
said something about Jimmy Carter again.
Jimmy Carter. Yeah. I've been seeing the news reports this morning that who got a hold of the AirPower prototype? You guys were talking about
91 Tech for sure.
91 Tech.
91 Tech. Let's give him flowers because he's the one who posted like a 30-minute video, and the thing is, I think other people did, but I might be wrong. But definitely 91 Tech did, and there's articles that are out from I think Mac Rumors or 9 to 5 Mac, and basically AirPower. We have tangible away from a controlled environment. We have tangible proof about how intricate it really is. It's an interesting video. I got to watch the whole thing, and he does get kind of pretty analytical with it and getting into the command prompts and stuff like that, and how to try to communicate with the device itself. And my biggest takeaway that I got from it, the first one, was that he had one of the latest or final prototypes that Apple was working on prior to the cancellation of the project, and he was able to run the way the serial, not the serial number itself, even though there is a serial number part of it, but there was these line of digits on there, and it tells you the project name, which is just a set of numbers and letters followed by a date that's inscribed on it, and then what version of that particular prototype it would be. And if that was the finalized version, then part of that coding or part of that text would have gone away to indicate a final build, a final release for it, for that particular time frame of when it got sent out. Now, wow, no, I don't want to. Wow, what a distraction! I'm not looking at that. That's not me. That's not me. Okay, so Mike, try to find a baby Randy on Shamu, but that one's not me.
Randy. I can't find him.
Yeah.
Please keep sending. A bunch of people on our podcast are just searching for SeaWorld commercials now.
I know. The ultimate Easter egg, the ultimate Randy lore. So,
yes.
AirPower, this particular model that he had, I believe, was from the 2018, late 2018.
Yeah, let me double check when they canceled it, because it was a while. It was
March. They canceled it in March of 2019 officially.
Oh, okay. You got it.
Yeah,
you're good.
It's fresh in my head because I just watched the video. But the version that the prototype that he actually has, I think was late 2018, and that was one of the final. So, how did he come in possession of this thing? A different YouTuber. Yeah, a different YouTuber, who I suspect is probably going to kind of get a little bit more notoriety now. What he did or does is he collects old Apple prototypes. That's what to my understanding, that's what his channel's all about. So he has all these scrapped ideas of different prototypes of different variances. I wouldn't be surprised if one day he gets his hands on one of the prototype iPhones that have the click wheel or something like that. He's one of those. He's a collector. Yeah, there was a confirmed weird prototype of a iPod style iPhone. So he's a collector, and he got his hands on the AirPower, this particular AirPower, because of a Chinese recyclable facility where they just scrapped and they did away with it, and he got a hold of it, and to my understanding, I think he reached out to some people like, hey, if you want to review this, but you're gonna send it back to me when you're done, and I think that's why I think there's more than one, if not more than one person got their hands on this prototype. And it could all very well be a fake, but I find it hard because the way that he plugged the lightning into it, and he pulled up the command prompt. It even had the engineer who was designing it, and he blacked out his name for security because he said his LinkedIn profile showed that he still worked at Apple, so he didn't want to get him in trouble. And also,
well, that's good.
91 Tech openly says, like, I'm pretty sure Apple is going to now watch this video, screen it, and I will now be blacklisted from anything. And, so he's like, it is
correct.
What it is, but yep.
Tim Cook watching this.
Yeah. Okay, good. Now you're never going to be invited to So
now that we're talking
likewise,
about
Apple, if you're listening, anybody from Apple, we're just covering it. I don't have it. I'm speculating. Don't punish us. But if you do, punish Nick and Sweeney. So that's
he was a
collector. Yeah.
That's right.
the plankton. Correct.
Correct.
I love it. So
that's cool that he's willing to do that, though. Like I haven't seen it yet because I just got back from a ride and then we started recording. But now that you're talking about it, like, it sounds interesting. But
it's very interesting because he confirmed
22 coils.
I was about to say 22 coils, and he was able to run a code for each one in the command prompt to verify how many coils there were, and there were other talks of earlier prototypes because the big problem was. Rumored to be the thermals of the whole thing,
right?
And so they tried less coils, and that was an earlier 2018 version of a prototype that they were still working on. His definitively has all those coils still, and trying to have each coil communicate in live time, almost in unison, to send that that information, whether it was like to the computer or when it's plugged into the wall, it's something that triggers the command to be like, okay, now turn on these coils. That was the hurdle that they just couldn't get over. And he was able to look at it more in detail about it. And ultimately, we know the fate of it. It didn't work out. And MagSafe became I would make a case better
I think
version
it is too.
of that too.
I'd rather have MagSafe than AirPower.
Yeah, MagSafe is what can make with docking this phone to be a webcam. Even though I'm just using a tripod, putting your phone on a wireless pad in the car while you're driving while it's upright and you have like GPS or something going, the MagSafe Duo or any equivalent of it, and the battery case, the phone and its accessories. I think MagSafe should have that is definitely the better alternative. But,
and the other thing I think is it's much cheaper. That 22 coil design, especially just looking at the prototype images, that would not have been a cheap accessory. That absolutely would have been probably $200+, easily $300, I think, considering if you find other accessories. Because there was one. Well, remember that one tech shop we went to, Mike, after the showroom? Mm-hmm. We checked out
They had a whole bunch of different options.
They had something that was kind of like AirPower with all the coils. You could see through it. And it let you charge your device anywhere on the mat, but it was just for 2 devices at a time. And I think the big issue with AirPower was the Apple Watch. I really don't think it would have been that bad if they would have just made it for AirPods and the phone. But the fact that they advertised it with the watch is, I think, what killed it. Like, try and get 3 devices charging at once, and also the Apple Watch doesn't take normal Qi chargers. It's like this weird little puck on the back. And trying to get that to work with, like, you can place it anywhere you want on the mat. Like, it was a really cool idea. I remember I was super hyped about it when it first was unveiled, and I was like, excuse me, Apple did wireless charging right. They finally figured it out, and, they didn't want to do wireless charging until they could do it the right way, so I understand why they waited so long, and this is the future. And I was visualizing, like, in the future, we could have, like, a whole desk of power, and you just put your laptop on it, and it charges the laptop, and your tablet, and it just, everything, you just set it down, and it starts charging. And that concept sounds pretty cool, but finding out about all of the thermal issues and the cost of making a surface of AirPower was not that big. It was like that, and even trying to make a surface that small to where you could put your devices anywhere to charge was going to be super expensive and get really hot. So the desk would have been probably $20,000, something absurd, to be like, you could put it in any square inch. Plus, the reliability of it likely would have been questionable with sport bands, as Apple started getting more into loop bands that kind of cover. It's not good for Apple Watch nightstand mode because it has to lay flat in order to charge. To the ground. Yeah, a lot of people would have to just take off their watch bands every time they want to charge it, or at least unlatch one of them and then have this big loop hanging out. And I was like, as cool as it was and it was exciting at unveiling, the more I thought about it, the less sense it made. And I love my MagSafe Duo. I'm using it right off camera here. It's just such a simple, much cheaper approach that solves the same problem, right? Because the problem AirPower was trying to solve is that wireless charging is a little bit iffy. You're like, you place it on this mat and you hope that it's aligned properly. So you got to look for that charging indication.
Because I don't have MagSafe right now.
Oh my God, I forgot. Yeah, the 11 Pro didn't have it.
That's something I'm upgrading with.
You're in such a treat for this next month. You're gonna be in Apple heaven.
I'll be future man at that point.
Tell Steve Jobs I said hi.
Future man.
You're not even future man. Yeah. Feature man.
Feature man. Yeah. The concept of trying to align the phone on the coils was a little bit awkward, so Apple wanted to fix it, and their first approach was charge mat so that you can put your phone anywhere. But at the end of the day, you would still come back to it and just drop your phone on a mat and it starts charging. And I think MagSafe ultimately accomplishes the same goal, which is it provides a little bit of extra security of, like, now you really know when you make it because you get that real noticeable and obvious click. The screen lights up. Basically, all the information goes away and just goes to boom, big sound. It's very noticeable. Okay, yes, you're charging. It's docked, so it's not going to be slightly bumped or not nudged off a little bit, and now it stops charging. But all it takes is probably like a $10 ring of magnets and accomplishes the same goal. And you can buy MagSafe accessories for pretty cheap. Third party, first party. AirPower was honestly going to be harder to travel with than MagSafe Duo. It's bigger, doesn't fold up, costs more, and doesn't really... I guess it would allow you to charge 3 devices at a time instead of 2, which is what Duo does. But there's 3-in-1 chargers and stuff, so...
If I may, my fundamental issue of AirPower that I had with their... They should have gone more... Obviously, hindsight, what they should have... They should have gone more with the approach of how you're describing it, Drew, where... like a desk, a table, a nightstand, a full stand, or a counter, a counter table. What's the thing?
A pro stand, if you will.
A pro stand, because if it just does. My issue with this,
Mike's like.
Well, what's up, Mike? I'm out here thinking in my own head. I didn't see.
No, I'm just shaking my head. He's terrible.
You got my joke. I was about the pro stand being $1,000.
Oh God.
That was my joke.
Yeah.
Oh no.
This is your pro stand.
No.
But I like the idea of Apple furniture. That's just like a charger's integrated.
Very expensive, and it has 4 wheels that cost $600 or something.
And the wheels.
Apple scissors.
My issue with the AirPower is that you don't need to charge all 3 of those devices as they kept trying to promo it at once.
That's true. Usually.
And that causes an issue. The MagSafe Duo does I'm using AirPods, today. I've been using them for a while now, and my case is like at 70%, and it's been maybe 2 weeks. And
yeah, they last a while unless you use them like all day, nonstop.
Right. So use case is obviously a thing, but I'm treating it as like a casual. I go for a walk with Kika or something, and I put these in. I'm at 70%, and AirPods to me are kind of like the Magic Mouse or Magic Keyboard, where it just needs juice every once in a while, and it holds everything quite well. And if our next iteration of AirPods Pro or next gen AirPods as a whole, rumored to have better batteries, then more so along the same lines of Magic Mouse or Magic Keyboard that you don't need to charge all the time. And I think the promo could have been done differently with AirPower. With them, like you could do all 3 at once, but it's overheating. It's like if Apple would have just been like, put 2 iPhones down or put
Just
maybe
2.
that would have just 2. You and your roommate and you're sharing a no, that's just my auntie's roommate. They're best friends. It's fine.
Jeez. I don't know where this is going.
No, but my point
Jimmy
is
Carter.
that like in practical use, Jimmy Carter. In practical use, you don't you don't need to like charge your AirPods and your watch and your phone
I feel
and
like
your
most
MacBook
people
and your
don't.
iPad
Yeah.
all at the same time. You could do it because it's a bragging right. Look what it could do. But in practicality, it's like that's just not really all that
AirPods aren't a daily charger.
necessary. No.
Yeah.
So MagSafe Duo was a response to that. I was like, let's be a little bit more practical with it. Where you could still charge all 3 devices, just not simultaneously, because it's not really necessary. Do you remember, Drew? Mike, you might have caught it too, but at least... Oh, he's not there. Drew, do you remember if... back, like, I think a year or 2 ago, where they had... where they had the... AirPower alternative that they were showcasing. It was like a big old black box, and you could put it wherever you want. And then on the back, they had the nightstand mode of Apple Watch. And
yeah, I think that's the one we saw at the store.
Yes,
I think that was the one I was thinking of.
So
I'll try to find it.
What does that solve? Nothing. And now, okay, it solves the 3 device problem. It solves the 3 device problem, but it's not portable. It's going to be heavy as heck to lug that around. It's not practical. And that's where MagSafe as the ascension of the dead AirPower really shines. Yeah, that thing right there. That sucker right there.
This would have been so much harder to travel with.
Yes.
And it costs more.
It's big, clunky, and annoying.
I think it was like $200. And it's
so
cool that like
MagSafe.
You can put it here, you can put it here. That's kind of nice, but you still like it's not saving you a bunch of time to be like I can put this here instead of it. I think the MagSafe was a more elegant weapon for a more civilized age.
Never gonna end.
It will make a fine collection. Here's why maybe my own bias of liking MagSafe for iPhone. Well, we talking more. You want to do more Star Wars?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep going. When General Grievous is being shot, that's AirPower when you put 3 devices.
So uncivilized.
So uncivilized.
Hello there.
So derailed.
Jeez. I love it. Yep. MagSafe, iPhone. I love it because it does what we kind of wanted to see smartphones sort of do for a long time, and that's modularity. And I love the concept of modularity.
People want modularity, but Apple doesn't want you to rip open the phone and access individual parts. So MagSafe is like the compromise. The modules and add to things.
Yeah.
And, I like that. It's a great idea.
Imagine you're able to use a MagSafe. Like right now, continuity camera just works so phenomenal just communicating with macOS Ventura that imagine if it needed that extra oomph to even unlock more with MagSafe, and the modularity of that now turns it more into, it gets closer to the mirrorless DSLR, line of operations, whether it's, bigger battery bank or maybe something to do with the connection of a different lens or something. But so that's just using camera, but people use it as a wallet. People use it as a protector. People use it for charging, and sometimes they use it all at once in the same. In every way, shape, or form, how iPhone or Apple as a whole responded to AirPower, this is the better route, because everything about AirPower now feels old, dated, clunky, heavy, impractical, but cool bragging rights. And 91 Tech addressed this in his video, and to a certain degree, I agree with the line of thinking. AirPower was to address a problem that I think it did solve, and that was to move the industry forward with the wireless Qi charging and having more capabilities with that realm of just wireless connectivity or wireless charging. And any phone that's taken seriously all has that, and they have their own little mini ecosystem of charging. Drew, one of your favorite Pixel Google products is not even the phone itself, but it's wireless stand and that material. And it all communicates with one another. So I think AirPower still was a success in the sense of what it was trying to do, but it had to die to get there. So, yeah.
Ironic.
I agree, Randy. I think MagSafe I don't think MagSafe would have been made without the failure of AirPower. And it's got so many more applications compared to AirPower, where you can put it in a car.
That's true.
Or put it on your desk or anything else. Take it with you easily. Make it foldable, because all it needs is just that small little contact area. So Apple could easily make a trifold, where it's like the Duo, but then like
MagSafe
have on
Trio.
have on one of the squares a fold back or out or whatever, so that way you can make it fold a certain way. Kind of like, think about a wallet,
like an FBI badge.
Like yeah. So I agree. I think I like the way that MagSafe's gone. I think the employees that came up with that solution, seeing that AirPower was not really going to go anywhere, definitely deserve the recognition, because they made a heck of a product.
Yeah. It's just shocking to go back and watch that event, because Phil chose such poor words at the time. He said, no one else in the world knows how to do this, but our engineers can figure it out, or have figured it out, or something like he doubled down on the fact that this is really complicated and really hard to do, but we can do it. And that just backfired so bad. It was quite hilarious. I remember following all kinds of updates for it, like it was hidden within website code, pictures, and they had a few images of it with the 10s and I think AirPods as well.
All that was dressed in the video too.
Yeah,
like Apple was that confident that I don't know if it was their ego or pride or whatever. They're like, no, we will make this work. We can figure it out. And then
they even had dummies at the event.
Yep.
People, they didn't work, but people looked at them.
Look at this. The greatest mystery right now is really, what was the last minute, like, what made you pull the plug in general? Like, who said, all right, stop, it's dead. I can save it. I can save it. Like, he's gone. Right. He's gone. No. Like,
probably that moment when they got the other teams to think about alternatives is when the death began. because they're like,
maybe
this is way too hard of a solution. What else could we do? Well, instead of being a widespread, like, put anything on it pad, what if you have to put it on a very specific spot? But
the magnets guide you.
But it stays there. Yeah. So
there's still a surprising amount of time, though, between canceling AirPower and the launch of MagSafe. That was March of 19 till October of 2020.
2020. Mm-hmm.
So there's like a pretty big window there where they were just like, no, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. But
I have
I
no idea what
remember,
you're talking about.
Did he mention in the video if it had an A11 chip?
No, I don't think he mentioned the chip at all.
Okay, because there were rumors that it had an A11 chip, and I just thought that made no sense. But
so his schematics is torn down on one side completely.
Right.
That actually fits almost square for square on it to a patent that Apple had put out years prior, and he's like, does this look familiar? Oh, boom. So it shows all the inner workings of what's happening. Then on the other side, it has this protective layer that's there, and underneath that is where the coils are. But he did not, because it's not his. He didn't open it.
Sure.
But that's why he was able to run the commands to verify how many coils were in there. But no, he did not. He did not say anything about the chip itself, or even reference the chip. Just referencing that this was built through.
I just
many different
wonder
layers.
when they announced it, what stage of development it was in. You know, like
the CGI
how close
part
were
only.
they? Like, did they feel like, okay, it's basically working, we just need to figure out the thermals? But then months and months go by and they're like, we're not figuring out the thermal.
This has become a hot
I think they bought themselves time with.
Sorry, Mike Starling, so we lost him for a second.
Yep, I think he's gone.
Know.
I don't know if he's messing with us. Yep, no, there he is. Okay.
Oh my God,
I think I did start.
Man.
that was convincing.
I don't know.
I think Apple bought themselves time with because one thing that he did allude in the video that I forgot about was everything was indicating that they were leading towards releasing it with the same time, side by side with AirPods 2nd gen, and that was with the magnetic case.
That's right, because there wasn't even wireless charging AirPods when they unveiled AirPower. That wasn't a thing.
That wasn't a thing yet. So
wow.
He was alluding to the AirPods being released side by side, and so maybe at some point they were working on the thermals back then in 2017, but for whatever reason it did not line up. So then they bought themselves this window where it's like, okay, we're perfecting, and maybe he brought up a quote that Steve Jobs had said a few times at different points in his career at Next or Apple, where what? Oh, what?
Steve Jobs quote, "Don't release AirPower, it won't work, Phil." Yeah, I don't know why he said that. It's really weird.
It didn't make sense in '97, but it definitely made sense in 2017. Fast forward 20 years later.
Time and context.
In 20 years, don't. He was talking about.
He used Mac OS Time Machine.
Nice. He said, "Good artists ship," or something to that effect. Good or great artists ship, or something like that.
We don't ship junk. I remember that one.
Ship junk. So it's probable that AirPower, with its thermal flaws, was still going to ship, knowing that there were flaws with its current iteration, and they were just going to fix it somewhere along the chain just to put something out there alongside with AirPower 2nd gen, and then continue working on it and just like really double down on AirPower to revise it and then ship it again where there wasn't no thermal issues, and then you could put all these at least up to 3 devices to charge. But I mean, at that point it's speculating that the reason to bring up the Steve thing was that they probably had every intention of shipping a flawed product because they kind of were overwhelmed with it, but it was still better than nothing. And you can see other variants of that happening in Apple's history, where they would ship like the butterfly keyboard with MacBook Pros or something like that, where they kept trying to fix it every year, and it just really didn't go nowhere. So then they kind of scrapped it. Or Touch ID, or not sorry, Touch ID, but 3D Touch. 3D Touch, they wanted to do more with it, even though that's more software limited, but kind of just left it. Or the Touch Bar. The Touch Bar was meant to expand more and more, but the Touch Bar never really got anywhere, so then eventually it just kind of killed off. So it was alluded that we can give them at least something with AirPower, but they said too much at the keynote because they were so proud of it. They're like, we kind of have to at least own this part. Right. So maybe they're like, just ship a limited version, take the backlash, and then let's fix it later. But maybe nothing was indicating that it was going to get fixed. And again, for the better, because MagSafe is an far more superior alternative to the same problem you're trying to fix, which is precise charging every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a weird chapter in Apple's history for sure. I remember the day they like formally came forward and canceled it. And then a bunch of people tried to convince everyone that it was coming back and that they had fixed it.
They talk about that too. Oh, they talk about certain leakers, certain personality types on YouTube.
That didn't go well. But
feeding false information.
I kind of sniffed through the bologna sandwiches a bit because I noticed that in all the leaked photos of the revamped AirPower, the Apple Watch was always charging in the exact same place as my knockoff AirPower clone that was given to me that just had the little Apple Watch indentation at that little middle point.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, here's some AirPower looking pictures, but the watch is always in the exact same spot. And I think that's a little bit fishy because there was nothing else on it. It's like you could put it anywhere on there and you chose there. Which is exactly
move it to
where
the
mine
middle,
is.
or move it to the left.
Little fishy, but
nah.
Yeah, it became a meme on our show. Now I want to go back and watch our reactions to when AirPower was announced, like which episode that was back in.
Somebody.
Oh wait, were we podcasting at that point?
We were.
We were. Has it been 5 years? That sounds.
We covered this on episode
definitely
200.
No. I think our first episode was December of 2017. So it was. We didn't have like day one reactions.
No, but what you did have was the documenting of every update, like you said, certain Apple products would ship and they would have.
That's right.
The photo on there, they would have it on the website, and that stuff we cover. I remember us covering it leading up to when we were at your old studio, your old office, when we found out that's when they we were there when they canceled it, and we all three of us like, what? We were all there in person.
Oh, wow.
Because even more so your vlog, we were at your house while you were making your next shirt design about RIP to AirPower. You were writing it out.
That's right. I forgot.
If not your vlog,
that.
I vlogged it. One of us was vlogging it.
Yeah.
And you were designing your next shirt because it was killed off because they announced it while we were there.
I forgot about that. Wow.
January 31st, 2018. I think is when you were talking about it. No. March
of 2018. No, sorry, March of 2019. March of 2019 is when it was canceled, and that's when we came to see you, and we were kind of talking about it.
That's right. It was 2019. And
2019 is when they killed
shirt.
it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was fun.
Yep.
I used it with the iPad, but yeah, it's
same iPad too.
Same iPad. Haven't changed iPads since then. That I know. Yeah, no. That was 2019, so we had it, but it was pretty new at the time. Back when I liked my iPad, but honestly, I'm debating bringing my iPad Pro out of
neglect,
dishonorable discharge. What's it called?
Yeah, dishonorable discharge.
A dishonorable discharge. Just because I know Ventura is coming, and I definitely want to use continuity camera, especially now that we're talking with Mike about Center Stage Duo. Is that can that be a term? Like imagine
I will make it a term.
I'll make it legal. 2 cameras right next to each other, and then you hold your face really close. And it zooms out. But I've run into that situation a lot where I'm like, I want to use my phone for something, but my phone is now the camera, So if
it's a good chat reader.
It's a good chat. It might be good for reading the chat, and it may be good for making thumbnails, even if I don't need to use the Apple Pencil so much anymore because of subject lift. Like,
can you subject lift on iPad?
Yeah, they did bring that. Thankfully, they didn't bring
Thank
the lock
God.
screen changes, but there is subject lift, and Halami was trying to sell me on the 11-inch iPad Pro in one of the member streams recently.
Same.
Oh, really?
Yesterday and the day before, he's been on and on and on about it.
He's going to doorsteps. He's knocking on people's doors. Do you have a moment to talk about the 11-inch iPad?
Have you heard the good news? The 11-inch feels like the mini, but with ProMotion.
I feel like if any of our listeners is not in our Discord, you could discover a story in 3 words. Halami is typing. ...
Yeah. I don't know if it happens in your server a lot, but people in my server love to throw the book emoji at him.
He loves to write. He's great at it too. I appreciate it. He's very good at keeping conversation going, which I'm often not very good at. But still, he was like, I don't think you want to use your iPad just as an iPad because the 12.9 inch is too overbearing. And if you tried the 11-inch M2 when that comes out, you can start to use it not as a 2-in-1, but just as a tablet. And because it's smaller, you'll feel more comfortable with it, and you'll get the stage manager.
I'm beginning to think he copy-pasted what he told in one of our servers to the other one, because almost verbatim, that's what he's telling me. Because he's good at following. He's good at following up. Because I asked a question, and he's like, "Oh, let me look into that." He should be a professional, like, writer, journalist. I don't know, but
yeah, he should.
It made me think. Where you're getting at, Drew, likewise, I'm like, maybe I should just repurpose my iPad because it's already paid for. It's already done. I'm not losing anything. So.
I see Mike enjoying his mini, and I'm like, I want to have fun.
I like my Apple Pencil.
Mike's mini is magnificent.
There's nothing wrong with the mini. It's
and my
perfect.
iPad mini is pretty cool.
Yeah. Other than the refresh rate, I love that thing. That's the only slight issue I have with it.
So, Drew, would you get a mini if it came with 120 hertz then?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel confident.
Allow me to push back.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I want to hear your thing for real quickly.
Oh, I was going to say, I feel confident in saying that because I don't think the mini will ever get 120 hertz.
Oh, what a cop-out.
Because mini pros never
But also,
okay.
Well, Apple clearly
transparently
you don't have ProMotion. They've had ProMotion on the iPads for 5 years now. Oh my God, over 5 years. It was
like
summer of 2017.
Okay, so 6 years.
Almost, yeah, coming up on 6. But it's been on iPads for a while, and they've never brought it to a non-Pro device still. Like, the iPhones didn't get 120 hertz until after Pro. The MacBook Pros get 120 hertz. And the likelihood of them making an iPad mini Pro is not super high as much as I want one. I think that would be a great device, and a lot of people would buy it. And I'm not against the market of iPads, like people have said. Drew, do you think no one should buy iPads? And I was like, no, like if you're looking for media consumption, note-taking, drawing, and you just want something with a little bit better multitasking than an iPhone, iPads are great, but just don't spend more than like $600 because you can get a refurbished Pro with great hardware, great specs, and it's fairly affordable. And if they did a iPad mini with 120 hertz in the future, I imagine it would not be $1,000. So there's not a high likelihood of it happening, but I, at this point, think I'd rather just keep using the current Pro because, like you said, I already own it. It's here. I bought it. It's a sunk cost.
Yeah.
Might as well just keep using that. And iPadOS updates are not a priority for me. So people are like, someone was asking me yesterday, like, should I get the Air 4 or should I get the old Pro? They're like the same price, but this has the A14 chip and this has the A12X. And I'm like, neither are getting most of the iPadOS 16 features. Neither are getting Stage Manager. Neither are getting external monitor support. So like if you're worried about, well, don't buy the old one because the chip won't get the. It's like they're already doing that. People who spent $1,000 on the A12Z chip don't get Stage Manager, and that's only like a year and a half after they bought it. Like so just because you're worried about software support, all you're gonna get is like very basic iPhone level features of like, okay, this one little iMessage change is gonna be on these older iPads, and okay, the weather app is here. They're not going to give you a bunch of big features that the A14 chip gets, but the A12X chip doesn't get. So I'm not worried about even my iPad not getting software support in the future. Like I'm okay if we don't update the 2018. Fine.
Here's my pushback about the Mini Pro, or just getting a Mini in general. That out of all people, Halami, surprise, hey bud, he's the one who brought to my attention. It's like, oh, that can actually be annoying, and especially for someone like you, Drew, because you like this feature I'm about to talk about. One thing that he did a side-by-side with the Mini and the 11-inch iPad Pro that I didn't realize was an issue until he did a literal like, oh, look at this, is the touchscreen keyboard. It's worse on the Mini, specifically the layout on stuff, whether you have like the caps lock and the shift, and the layout of the keys are kind of off a little bit. And on the Mini, if you were to hold it in the more comfortable position, it actually it's not as clean of a UI, nor is it really giving you much space to like it eats up most of your display as you're sitting there trying to type with your thumbs. And he does the exact same thing in the portrait position of the 12 or the 11-inch Pro, and it's a full-size keyboard. It's properly positioned down and you could still navigate with thumbs the same way you would want to.
I haven't noticed that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
As soon as he gets to this part of the show, he's going to tag me and show me the comparison.
Yep. I mean, that's something, because he said something that prompted me to ask that question, and he did a side-by-side. I was like, ooh, interesting. It wouldn't bother me as much, except that there is no keyboard for the like a tactile keyboard for the Mini, and I do use the Magic Keyboard for it. So it lacks in some options in that way as well. But there are times where even with the iPad Pro, I like to undock and just use it as a tablet. And I love the fact that it's a full-size keyboard in every sense of it, and it does not obstruct most of the screen real estate. To I can still see everything behind it. It doesn't fade it out too much or darken the back of it. But that was something that I noticed with the side-by-side with the Mini and the 11-inch Pro. So really, for just a little bit more size to it, not only do you get the promotion, you get more peripherals if you wanted to use it in regards to the keyboard. And isn't it also Thunderbolt, or is that only the 12.9 inch? The Thunderbolt.
That's USB? Only the Pros. I don't think they've done Thunderbolt on any non-Pro iPad yet. They just
I'm talking about
higher speed USB-C.
So the 11-inch iPad Pro would have Thunderbolt as well.
Yes.
So you get a better port, you get more peripherals, you get a better UI experience because of the tech that's in there, the laminated display. You get ideally maybe a better camera system than what you would get that would default on the
LiDAR. Who uses
LiDAR? Well, I'm
their
talking
iPad
more so
camera?
like with the face tracking, or not face tracking, sorry, but with Face ID, there's more data that's processed. So maybe if you were to do the bokeh background with software, it tracks it better than it would on a non Face ID sensors and stuff like that. So I think I changed my mind. My mind has been changed because of seeing those side by sides and thinking about. I'm like, well, if I had to, but the thing is, it's a flawed statement from the beginning with, because I would never want to now on any of them. So. Again, out of retirement, 12.9, it's a bit overkill with storage configuration, size, everything, keyboard, but we're done.
I'm basically looking at it as not I'm using the iPad because it's an iPad and it can do more than the phone, because it really can't. It's more of like, I need a second iOS device, and this is the newest one I have available, but the exact same job could be done with a second iPhone. And I could just buy a second iPhone, but why would I spend money when I can just you're not using it as like a daily driver or anything. It's just I need something to make thumbnails, read the chat, or check texts or something as I'm using continuity camera, which I think I will in the future. Honestly, the more I use my laptop like away from home and stuff, it makes me think maybe I should get that Belkin adapter. It would be kind of nice to just drop it on the laptop.
If not Belkin, I'm sure there's a cheaper alternative for you.
You can also
as
3D
well.
print one too.
There's nothing proprietary about it. It's just a clip.
Yeah. Doesn't it use MagSafe though, or does it use something else?
That's a great question.
I don't know.
I thought it used. I thought it was like a magnet.
I think you could accomplish the same thing, right? If you know what the MagSafe ring's dimensions are, you could easily make.
The only issue I'd have with a 3D printer is you need to make something that can grip the phone, which is kind of hard to do if it's not flexible.
You just need to make the structure of 3D printer and then add on the bumpers on the top and bottom. And if you're making I mean, at this point you're remaking the whole Belkin product, but it depends on whether you want to spend money on it. I don't have a 3D printer. It's like
me either. I spent $1,000 on a 3D printer so that I could save $50 on my adapter. But
that's how it goes.
But if there was a simple design, tag me on Twitter if you guys know of a simple design for like holding phones that you can 3D print, because I thought you'd need, at least for my tripod for my phone, it like expands. It like stretches out like this and then clamps down and tightens it. So if it was all just solid plastic, I wouldn't feel very comfortable because it couldn't get very rigid.
I found one that can actuate.
Mike found it here. Ooh.
$20?
Yeah.
$20?
Power Rig's got a pretty good one.
Not a sponsor.
No.
No reviews.
I wonder why.
Why did they use such an old laptop for the whatever?
I know, but I also have another example
this one's
as well.
Beefy. Jeez.
This one is
$20.
3D
That's hard
printed.
to beat. Oh, okay. Where do they? What does that attach with? Is it MagSafe?
That looks like MagSafe.
Yeah, they have a little MagSafe puck that the 3D printer
ships from San Diego. Look, we'll just go pick one up when we're in town. We'll all go to wherever this is at.
Oh, he's got a little.
Yeah, you have to put. You put the MagSafe puck in the 3D printer, so it's actually you can charge it as you're using it. You don't have to charge it, but you can.
Oh, that reminds me. $10. Hey, that reminds me. I have an answer about the whole continuity camera and the battery thing. I don't know if you ever did a follow up with that, Drew. It's plugged in right now, so I've run it unplugged and plugged in right now. Charging the phone. It does what the Mac does now, where if I'm over 80%, it'll bring down to 80 and hold it. If I'm under 80, it charges it up to 80 and holds it.
Interesting. See, on my phone, it would say battery not charging due to heat. Which I thought was weird. It never said like charging on hold. Like while you're using continuity camera, have you ever like tapped the display and then gone to control center to see what it says?
I could take a look.
I guess we're at the end, so if we're wrapping up, might as well see what happens.
Okay.
Let's see. I just found something on Belkin's site, and it makes me really angry now.
Where do I look at? Where do I go?
It would be in like when you swipe down from control center to view your battery percentage. If you don't have the new beta,
it just has it at 80%. Nope, just 80%.
Okay. Then yours isn't overheating. Maybe the green one doesn't overheat as much as graphite.
Beautiful, right?
Nice. Well, do you have any final thoughts, gents, before we wrap up?
That was it. The battery thing. I've been wondering about the whole battery. It takes it and holds it at 80, so that's cool.
And what did you find? Oh my God, Mike, what is this?
I have no clue. It's a Belkin certified plug for the iMac that has the SD card and micro SD card reader.
Whoa.
2 USB-A ports and 1 USB-C port. But I found with the Apple certified multi-adapter port thing that sometimes if I try plugging stuff into that USB-C port, it just doesn't do its thing, or it doesn't want to do anything. Like if I plug in any device that is charging or anything else, it won't work. So
Weird.
It might be the iMac might be power limited in many cases with some accessories. But I would like to thank.
Got that Belk.
It would have been nice. I would like to thank user Camera Studio for giving me the best name ever to call Randy, being Riley. So thank you, Camera Studio.
That Belkin adapter would have been a lot cheaper than the Mac Studio. That way you could have kept the beautiful iMac in your office.
Oh
well.
It is beautiful, isn't it?
It's pretty
quick. Let me cancel the order then.
Real quick, get your money back. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope you have an excellent rest of your week. Take care, all. Bye-bye.
Bye.